This video is for those of you that have a startup or are thinking about starting one. I'm going to talk about something very important in order to make your startup work and thrive. And it's something that many founders get wrong. I see it all the time. It's not what you think it is. It's not having the right product or the right business model. It's actually something much more simple than that. To make lean startups work, you need a balanced team. Let me unpack that. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, let me say this. A balanced team is probably the most valuable asset for any company, any organization, any startup. But at the same time, I also see so many founders getting it wrong. They hire people that look like them, they hire people that are just like them, or they hire people with the same skill set that they have. But that is not what you want to do if you want your startup to be successful. The reality is, startups require different types of skills, and you need a team that has complementary skills that balances each other out and covers all the aspects of your business. Startups are high-risk, high-uncertainty endeavors. You're trying to find product market fit. You don't know if your idea is going to work. You don't know if the business model you're trying to implement is going to work. You don't know if you're going to be able to scale the operation. And as such, you need a team that can navigate through all that uncertainty with you. If you have a team where everybody has the same skill set, you're going to be lost. And the reason for that is because startups have a lot of ambiguous problems that require ambiguous solutions. For example, how do we improve conversion rates on our website? Well, you might try different things, run different tests, run different ads, try different value propositions, try different landing pages. There's a lot of ambiguity in how you solve that problem. Or another example, how do we acquire customers? Well, you might do paid acquisition, you might do organic acquisition, you might do partnerships, you might do content marketing, influencer marketing, PR, events. There's a lot of ambiguity in solving that problem. And when you have a team that has a lot of similar skill sets, nobody is pushing back on the idea. Everybody's like, yeah, that's a good idea, let's go for it. And then you end up doubling down on efforts on things that are not working, and it ends up burning a lot of time, energy, and money. But if you had somebody on your team that had a different perspective, somebody that would challenge the idea, somebody that would push back and say, hey, maybe this is not the right thing to do. Maybe we should focus on this instead, then you would avoid a lot of those pitfalls. Now, before I go further, I want to clarify something. When I say balanced team, I do not mean that you need to have an equal number of people on your team with different skill sets. What I mean is that you need to have the right skill sets on your team. So if you only need 3 people on your team, but 2 of them have to be engineers and 1 of them has to be a salesperson, then you don't need to hire a 4th engineer and make it 3-to-1. You simply need to hire a salesperson. And yes, sometimes you might need multiple people with similar skill sets, especially if you're a very technical company and you're trying to build software or a hardware product. But even in that case, there's still other aspects of the business that need to be covered. Even if you're a very technical company, you still need to acquire customers, you still need to sell your product, you still need to support your customers, you still need to market your product. So even if you have a team full of engineers, you still need people that can cover all those other areas. Now, let's talk about the specific skill sets that you need on your team. First of all, you need a great executive, somebody that can take the company from idea to execution to success. This person needs to have vision, needs to have drive, needs to be passionate, needs to be able to inspire other people to follow them, to join them on their journey. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to find these people. And the reason for that is because most executives that you're going to find out there, especially in big companies, they don't have the hunger, they don't have the drive, they don't have the passion. They just do it for the paycheck. But startups require people that are hungry, that are driven, that are motivated by more than just a paycheck. You need somebody that's willing to put in the hours, put in the sweat equity, take the risk, sacrifice for the upside. Not everybody wants that. So finding these people is extremely hard. You really need to go out there, look for them, find the hidden gems that have the potential to be great executives. And oftentimes these people are not going to be expensive. Yes, if you find somebody that was a former executive at Google, at Facebook, at Microsoft, they're going to be super expensive. But oftentimes, the best executives that I've seen are people that were grinding in the trenches, doing whatever it took to make their companies successful. They're not necessarily coming from prestigious universities. They're not necessarily coming from famous companies. They're oftentimes people that you would overlook, but they have the drive, they have the hunger, they have the passion to take your company to the next level. The second type of person you need is somebody that can help you with product development. Now, this person doesn't necessarily need to be a great coder, doesn't necessarily need to be an expert in AI or machine learning, or whatever technology you're trying to build. But they need to understand product development. They need to understand how to build things. They need to understand how to execute. They need to understand how to manage the trade-offs between shipping fast versus shipping right. And oftentimes, you're going to have to make tough decisions as a founder, as a startup, as a company about what features do you build, what technologies do you use, what tools do you use, what services do you use. And having somebody on your team that can help guide you through that process is invaluable. The third type of person you need is somebody that understands marketing and sales. You need to be able to figure out how to get the word out about your product, how to get people interested in your product, and ultimately how to convert those people into paying customers. And again, this person doesn't necessarily need to be an expert in every single thing. They don't need to know how to code, but they need to understand enough about marketing, enough about sales, enough about advertising, enough about content, enough about SEO, enough about social media to be able to help guide your company as you try to figure out the best way to reach your target audience, the best way to get the message across, and the best way to convert prospects into customers. The fourth type of person you need is somebody that can help you with operations. Startups oftentimes try to do too much on their own. They try to reinvent the wheel. They try to build everything themselves. But the reality is there's a lot of services out there that you can leverage, whether it's customer support, whether it's accounting, whether it's legal, whether it's HR, whether it's recruiting, whether it's finance, whether it's fundraising. There's a lot of things that you can outsource. You can leverage the expertise of other people, the experience of other people. And having somebody on your team that understands how to run operations, that understands how to optimize for efficiency, that understands how to make your life easier by leveraging the right tools and the right people around you is invaluable. And finally, you need a great board of advisors. Now, this can be a group of people or a group of investors that can help guide you, help mentor you, help advise you as you go through the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. Having people that have been there, done that can help you navigate through difficult situations, that can help you make tough decisions, that can open doors for you, that can connect you with other people is extremely valuable. And the cost of not having a good board of advisors is extremely high because you're going to make a lot of mistakes, you're going to waste a lot of time and energy and money. And if you had a good board of advisors, they would have helped you avoid those pitfalls. They would have helped you make better decisions. They would have helped you grow faster. So even if you're a solo founder, even if you don't have a co-founder, you still need people around you that can help you, that can support you, that can guide you, that can mentor you. And oftentimes you can find these people by joining different communities, by going to different events, by reaching out to other founders, by talking to other entrepreneurs, by cold emailing people, by cold calling people, by sending messages on LinkedIn. There's a lot of ways to find these people. You just need to be creative, you need to be persistent, you need to be resilient, and if you have all these types of people on your team, then you have a balanced team, and that's what it takes to make your startup successful.